Meghan Markle, or should I say Meghan Sussex, has a new show, and you know we have to talk about it. Let's get into it. By the way, I'm KJ Miller. I am a founder, lecturer, and content creator. I love talking about all things pop culture and business. If you like any of that, be sure to subscribe. Now let's get down to business. So in case you missed the news, Meghan Markle has a new show that just launched on Netflix. It is called With Love, Meghan. I have watched the first episode, and I know it's probably crazy to get up on the internet and start talking about a show. You've only seen one of the 8 available episodes. But look, I've only seen one, and I'm ready to give my review, okay? And I might give an updated review when I go and watch the rest. But what I can tell you is that so far, I love it. I love it, and I like it so much more than I thought I would, because this is not the type of show that I generally watch. I'm not someone who watches Barefoot Contessa, Rachel Ray. I didn't watch when I think Selena Gomez had a show where she was cooking with folks in her kitchen. Hailey Bieber, did she also have a show like that? Zac Efron had some show where he was taking people around the world and trying new foods, and never watch Anthony Bourdain. You get it. The point is, this is not my usual content. Now, I tuned in because I like Meghan Markle and I wanted to support her, but I sort of figured, it's something I'd have on in the background. I maybe wouldn't pay that much attention. No, I was locked in from moment one. When she started out there with those bees, I said, now, wait a minute, Meghan, what you doing with these bees? And I was locked in. I was interested. I wanted to see what she was doing with her little bees. Come to find out, she did a lot with those bees. Okay. Miss Ma'am was making jars of honey. She was making candles. She was taking the wax and doing other various things with it. She was using the honey. I think she made a honey syrup. Did she call it a honey syrup? I think that's what she called it, to put in a cake that she made from scratch. Okay. She full circle with the bees, which I very much enjoyed. She also had a beekeeper who's like her guy. That's her personal beekeeper, I think. Which just brings me to a point I made in a TikTok I made the other day about the show. I did feel poor. Okay. I did feel poor watching this little show. I don't have a personal beekeeper or any bees. And there were multiple times throughout the show where I was like, oh, she's rich. And I am not. But that is okay, because watching her live her little luxe life really did bring me joy. And also what I really appreciated, because now we're going to get to the review of it all. What I really appreciated was I felt like she really was giving tips and things that like I could do. Now, I'm not a crafty girly and I don't love to cook, but when she made that one pot pasta, I was like, I could make that. And that's the type of thing I like to make. I love a one pot meal. Okay. Don't let me find an Instapot. I love simple foods. And that to me seemed like something I definitely could do. Or even the candle making. Now, as I said, I don't have any bees, so I would not be able to source the wax for my backyard. But I could get some wax. I could go to Etsy and get some wax and make candles. I actually saw someone in my comments was saying like she, after watching the episode, was like, I'm going to do a little candle making party with my girls. And I thought that was so cute. It made me think like maybe I should put together a candle making party with my girls, because she made it look, relatively easy and accessible. And that is the thing that I personally am enjoying about the show. I feel like, because the few times I have seen a Barefoot Contessa or whatever, or even a Martha Stewart, the things that they're doing just don't feel accessible to me. Like if you've ever watched Ina Garten, like she's always talking about, how fresh her fish is and the olive oil coming straight from the pressed olives, and everything just seems like at a level where I can't do it. I can't reach it. Somehow, none of this really felt that way. Even though she looked very luxe and very rich, she still was making the thing she was doing seem accessible, which I enjoyed. I will note the criticism that I feel like people have had of Meghan is that she isn't relatable or she's pretentious or whatever. This episode to me did not come across as pretentious. Like, look, she is who she is. She did marry the Prince of England, like she did. Okay. So even though y'all love to hate, she is who she is. She is the Duchess of Sussex. Okay. She is that. That's not going to change. As much as y'all might want to hate about it, that's not going to change. That was a title bestowed upon her by the Queen. So she's not going to come across as, Susie from the block. But I still found her to be and to feel relatable, which I think is a feat given her title. And that was one of the things that I personally really liked about the show. I also like the premise of having like a friend come over for each episode and taking them through whatever the thing is that you're doing for that episode. I think that's fun. I think that's cute. It kind of gives us a window into her life. Like this first episode, she had her makeup artist. Was it her makeup artist or her hairstylist? I think she said makeup artist from Suits, and was talking about how they just became such good friends. And also I think she was mentioning how she had to find him and like hire him. Like it wasn't the network who found and hired him for her. And he was just saying how like nice she was when she reached out just sort of on her own. It wasn't like her agent or anyone reached out. It was just her, which he found to be like really endearing. And so you kind of get that window into her life, which is nice. But then also you get to see like, oh, okay, if this is something that I wanted to do with my friends, how could I do it? I don't know. I personally really enjoyed that aspect of it. I also think it was very smart for them to release all 8 episodes at once, because most of the people in my comment section over on TikTok binged the whole thing like in one sitting. And it does have that sort of effect where you kind of want to keep watching. The only reason I didn't watch the second episode is because I'm tired, okay? I'm old. So we watched the first episode at 9:00 and then it was 9:30 and it was time to go to sleep. But it definitely has that feel of it's so easy to watch that you do just want to like keep watching, let it play. It's kind of relaxing. It's kind of calming. I find her voice to be quite calming for whatever reason. So I think releasing all 8 episodes at once was very smart because I do feel like it's quite bingeable. And another thing I liked about it was, even though I do feel like some of the things she's doing read as accessible, like I said, I do believe I can make that pasta. I do believe I could if I wanted to host like a candle making party. There were also plenty of things that like I felt like she was being real about, like, and this is probably not going to be accessible to you, or just things that we were seeing that were like, oh yeah, you live like this. So the bees is one, and she you very explicitly said at one point like, this is how I get my beeswax, but you can get it from Etsy, right? Like she didn't say it quite like that, but making it clear, I know not all of you pores have bees. Or another thing is like the way her little calligraphy that she does anytime she was writing anything and labeling anything. The chance, first of all, that I would go out of my way to label anything are so slim. Okay, so yes, she she lives that life where not only is she labeling, but she's labeling in perfect calligraphy. That is not necessarily relatable, but it does seem real to me to how she lives her life as a American princess. I believe that she's out here doing calligraphy and labeling people's bath salts and everything else. I believe that she is doing it. I also recognize that while that is not quote unquote relatable, it is real to her, and I appreciate seeing it. Like it's interesting and entertaining to me. And I appreciate that she didn't try and, I don't know, like dumb it down. It's like, girl, this is how you live your life as American royalty. And I'm on board with that. So now, of course, we do have to address the hate that the show is receiving. I luckily am not on the side of TikTok where everybody is hating on this show. So I'm sure there's a lot of hate that's out there that I'm not even seeing, and I'm not particularly interested in seeking it out. But I will say the criticism that I have seen, because it was left in my comment section on my video, was that she is hypocritical for continuing to go by her title, continuing to go by Duchess of Sussex, when she wanted to remove herself from the royal institution. Like, if you're going to remove yourself fully, get rid of the title, don't lean on the title, blah, blah, blah. That is the criticism. And I just have to say, I think that is silly. I think it is disingenuous. I think y'all will find any reason to hate on Meghan. If it weren't that, it would be another thing, because remember, the goalpost has moved for her many times over. Like, I remember when y'all were mad about how much money they were spending, how much royal money they were spending. So they not only left the royal family, but turned down all allowances, all whatever. They have no money coming from the British people, which means they do have to make some form of income. But now this is how she's chosen to do it, and y'all are mad at that. Like, so I just feel like, first of all, you'd find a way to get mad no matter what. But second of all, she is still the Duchess of Sussex. That is still her title. My understanding was that while they left their formal roles, they did not abandon the titles bestowed upon them. And even if they abandoned the quote unquote title, that doesn't change who Prince Harry is. He is still the son of a king. So even if she wasn't quote unquote using the title, the media would still think of her that way and portray her that way. And that is still what would be causing a lot of the interest. That would still be the reason Netflix, for instance, signed an overall deal with her. It just is who she is. And y'all acting like she's not allowed to benefit from her actual lived experience of falling in love with a prince, marrying a prince, moving to Britain, giving up her entire acting career, all of the other things she was doing, and now coming back into some of the things that she was previously doing, including lifestyle content, in the context of still being married to a royal who's and have children who are part of the royal, bloodline. Why wouldn't she be able to talk about that? Why wouldn't she be able to lean on that? And even in saying that, to be very honest with you, what's confusing to me is if you watch the first episode, she didn't bring any of that up. Not once. She did not bring up Harry, William, Kate, Diana, Elizabeth, Charles, the British people, the British tabloids. She didn't bring up any of that in episode 1. It wasn't a part of it really wasn't a part of the trailer or anything. So even this criticism that she's leaning on it too much, leaning on it where? How? Just because it's still her title? Okay, it's her title, but we're not even talking about it in this little show. Now, again, maybe it comes up way, 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 way more in additional episodes. Like I said, I've only seen the first one, but I don't think it does. I don't think that is the focus of the show. I think the focus of the show is how Meghan creates her various lifestyle creations, how she cooks, how she cleans up, how she decorates the home, like the little touches she adds for her guests. It's a show about her being a homemaker. And her home happens to be a home she shares with a literal prince. And so, yeah, it's going to come up. But y'all are acting like she's cashing in on it when that to me is just not true. And also, I think this idea that she's not supposed to ever think about or mention her actual lived experience is silly. And y'all are going to find a reason to hate on this woman no matter what. And just say that. Just say that. You don't like her. You don't have a good reason not to like her. You just don't like her. Okay. I personally do like Meghan. I loved her on Suits. I liked her documentary. I liked her husband's book, which she has not mentioned him yet, but I liked her husband's book, Spare. I like her. She seems interesting. She seems kind. She seems very self-aware, and she seems ambitious. And I think that's really what a lot of you guys have an issue with. She is ambitious. She has found a way to still continue to make money, make a lot of money, make good money, doing the things that interest her. And I think a lot of y'all wanted, after they left the royal family, for her to just slink off into a corner and to never hear from her again. Well, by the way, you don't have to press play on the show. You could never hear from her again. Okay. So if that's what you want, you do that. All right. Don't press play. Don't watch. But for the rest of us, I will tell you, I'm thoroughly enjoying the content. I am very excited about her brand launch as ever. I will be purchasing the honey from her good bees, and I would love to know if you will be too. Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like content like this, be sure to subscribe. I'll see you next time.